Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier are set to fight for one of the most prestigious belts in all of combat sports, just after the WWE Heavyweight Championship of the world. Mark and I are going to talk about this fight and the rest of UFC 291. But before we do that, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe as we have brand new videos every single week. So, Mark, let's get into it and talk about this actual fight. With this BMF belt, do you think this lifts the fight more or the card more, or do you think we don't really need it with Justin and Dustin?
I think it does, to be honest. As much as I'm an advocate for getting rid of this crap belt, this cringeworthy belt, I think it actually does elevate it because you've got Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, who are, I hate to say, BMFs, but it really does make sense. What about you? Have you actually turned around a little bit to that title?
I'm really not sure. I don't think this card needs this BMF title at all. I feel like it's a huge card anyway. It's really stacked. It's a really, really good, fun card. I don't think it needs it, no. But, maybe now that we've got two fighters who are going to be more active, and if they're defending the belt a lot, maybe it'll make us care about it. Because I'm all up for a bit of a gimmick and a bit of fun, but we have to do something with it. Do you think that for you will elevate the belt, Mark, if they keep defending it and keep having fun with this belt? Would it make you more interested in the title?
It should do in theory, but then you look at it and you go, okay, well, imagine if Stephen Thompson gets up and coming for it. He ain't a BMF. Does he qualify to get it? Do you have to look and go, all right, yeah, you're a bad mother effer outside of the cage as well. So yeah, you can qualify for the title. Just seems so weird, doesn't it? It's a little bit of a gimmick, like you said, but on two active fighters, you place that belt on either Dustin or Justin, and you can go, yeah, it makes sense actually, which is why I thought Masvidal was going to be defending it constantly, but it fell on its ass a little bit, that didn't it?
Yeah, it got wasted, the belt. That's the thing. It's a fun gimmick. I'm all up for fun gimmicks and having a bit of a laugh, but when you do nothing with it, what's the point? Like, he didn't defend it against Usman. He didn't defend it against Colby. He didn't defend it against Gilbert Burns. So what's the point? And when he won it through a doctor's stoppage. I mean, he was going to win anyway, but I'm just saying it fell before it even got going, didn't it? It just felt like putting it on Jorge, and then they did nothing with it afterwards. But it's hard. Can you blame Jorge for it, or do you blame the UFC for it? Because surely they're in charge of booking this belt and who it's for. And then could you imagine if Usman had the BMF belt? I think that would make it even more cringy. I think that'd be awful.
I can imagine that, to be fair, yeah. You'd just be wondering now. Didn't Usman say he wanted that title on the line just so he could put it in his wardrobe and forget about it, though?
Yeah. Well, it's a bit unfair. But talking of titles, we have Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira fighting each other. And this is going to be Alex Pereira's light heavyweight debut. Do you think the winner of this fight will get a title shot?
I think they've got to be fair, haven't they? Jan Blachowicz has been up there. His last fight was for the title, which ended in a draw against Ankalaev, obviously. Alex has been the middleweight champion, albeit very brief, but he has been the champion. So surely this is a title eliminator. Light heavyweight's a little bit dead, Dwayne, to be honest. Do you not think it has been for a little while now? And ever since Jones has vacated the belt, it feels like almost people have almost been a surrogate champion. I know that sounds ridiculous. Apart from Yuri, but I'm scared of that man.
I know what you're saying, though. The big problem with the light heavyweight division is no matter what, John Jones is going to loom over that division because he vacated the belt. But now the same thing's happening with Yuri. It feels now, if Yuri's not back soon and he doesn't fight Hill soon, we're just kind of passing around the belt for the second best. It doesn't feel like a legitimate title, does it? And I think everybody knows it. I think Hill knows it. Yuri knows it. Everybody knows that Yuri is the current champion, even though he doesn't officially hold the belt. So that is going to linger over it for quite a while now, isn't it? That's the problem. But I do think the winner of this fight, if Yuri doesn't return, will be fighting Jamal Hill for the belt. And it'd be really interesting to see how that all works out. And I know we're not going to go over predictions too much, but do you think Alex can really have a chance up in light heavyweight? Because I know he's a big guy, but that wrestling threat of this division and from Jan personally, do you think he'll be able to hang with these guys? Do you think his takedown defense is going to be good enough?
I wouldn't put it past Jan just to want a stand-up war, because if he could pick, he'd want a knockout as well, polished power, all that kind of thing. And it's like when Jan beat Israel, Whitaker. We're talking about middleweight now. Whitaker said, "Oh, he gave me a blueprint to beat him," and you think, "Oh, well, he's just going to wrestle him." That didn't happen. I can imagine this to be more of a stand-up war. If either of them connect clean, I think this could go down, because we've seen Alex get knocked out. We've seen Jan get finished. We've seen him get knocked out as well, actually, way back when. I think this is going to be, could be fight of the night, to be honest. I don't think this is going to be boring at all. I don't think it's going to be a lay and pray. I think there's going to be two very, very hard hitters going at it. Plus, don't forget, Jan, he's no spring chicken as well. He'd love another title run, obviously. So I think he's going to want to come out and make a statement after his last fight, which really did not impress the boss, Dana White.
Yeah, it did not all. Dana was fuming. I actually kind of think the opposite to you, Mike. I think, yes, Jan is a big stand-up fighter, and I think he will want that knockout. But if I've got Alex Pereira stood in front of me, and he's got this big, powerful left hook, and I've seen that easy can take him down with ease, what am I going to do? I'm just going to hold him down as long as possible. But what's the point? Why put yourself at risk? Because Jan Blachowicz knows that he's a better wrestler. He'll have better grappling. He can do what he wants with him. So why even risk that stand-up? I know that might make it slightly more boring, but I just think at least if he's going to threaten that takedown attempt, at least every now and again, just throw it in there and then put Alex on the back foot so that he doesn't feel he can just start teeing off. Because if he does, Jan will take him down. But let's move on to Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Are you even interested in seeing Tony fight again?
No, is the blunt answer there, Dwayne. Not particularly. It's kind of sad to see. He's done well in some of these fights since the Gaethje loss, but against Bobby Green, I think Bobby's going to piece him up, to be honest. And it may upset some people. Not me saying that, but I mean the actual fight itself. I believe that this might be the last fight that we see for Tony Ferguson in the UFC before he goes to BKFC.
Oh no, don't say that. That's even worse. I don't want to see Tony Ferguson getting beaten up by Mike Perry with his bare knuckle. That'd be awful. Don't say that. But I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because Bobby Green's not a high-level fighter, and Tony's lost to high-level guys, but he's so old now, and he's so slow, and, it's unfortunate to say, but it's true, isn't it? Like, look at that Nate Diaz fight. It was like watching two men brawling in a bar. I was like, what is going on? This is dreadful.
It was that, yeah, I'll give you that. It was only good because they were both of similar stature. I think you can give it that. If that was two young or up and comers opponents that they had, they would have looked just so terrible. But it was almost slow motion, and that was the main event because of Hamzat.
Yeah, because of Hamzat. Yeah, it's his fault. But Bobby Green, he isn't that high level guy, and maybe Tony can have some success. We'll see, but I very much doubt it. But do you think, win, lose, or draw, this will be the final fight for Tony? Do you think he'll retire after this fight?
If he gets the win, I can see him doing a couple more maybe, or trying his luck again, just trying to get back into that, that top five category, that kind of thing. But I can't see him getting the win. I can see if he does lose in dramatic fashion, I can see Dana making the call for him.
Yeah. Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Because, the UFC could just release him, I guess, but it all depends on what his contract is, because I think Tony's the kind of guy that he's going to fight out his contract no matter what, because if he doesn't, that's it. He's got no other opportunities. They have to just sit around and do nothing, essentially. So I think he will want to fight out his contract or be released, because like you said, as sad as it is, I don't want to see him go to bare knuckle FC, but Tony's that kind of guy that he'll end up going to one of these places or fighting on Triller or getting beaten up by Jake Paul or something embarrassing like that. That's what he'll do. So he needs to get out of his contract. So then we have, Ikram Askarov, I don't know how to say his name. He's fighting the 5th ranked Paulo Costa. Do you find this fight a little bit strange, and that Paulo Costa, who's ranked 5th, is fighting someone who's not even ranked yet, who's only had one fight in the UFC and one fight on the Contender Series?
I find this fight strange, and I find Paulo Costa's fan base strange as well, to be honest.
What, me?
It just seems, it just seems so much of a zigzag, though, isn't it? Because take it back a few years, people hated him after the Romero fight just because they thought Yoel won. Izzy dominated him. And then he was talking about, drinking the wine before, all that kind of stuff. Missed weight massively with Marvin Vettori. People hated him. Then he shares a few memes and talks about Secret Juice and beats Luke Rockhold, a knackered Luke Rockhold, and everyone loves him again. I'm like, why are you still number 5? Luke Rockhold didn't fight for like 3 years or so. You're like, why is he still number 5? I actually like watching him in cage as well. I thought he was great. He's entertaining. He's just a big, strong powerhouse. But I just find the whole thing a little strange, and it is a massive step up. But anytime you see Paulo, there's a big chance for a huge knockout from someone who looks like what man should look like in 1,000 years' time. So, yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, I am interested to see it. And I think maybe what they're doing is Ikram for Hamzat Chimaev, didn't they? On, I don't know what other show it is, what other promotion. And he lost to Hamzat, and it's his only ever loss. And I wonder if the UFC are trying to build this guy up and go, right, let's get this guy ranked, and then we can do this second fight between them under the UFC, because it'd be a good way to push them up. And it seems that's a fight that people are interested in seeing. Do you think that's why? Do you think it's a fight that you'd want to see, Ikram versus Hamzat too?
Well, they're always trying to build a star, aren't they? And see, a lot of people probably won't know that as well, about that history with Hamzat. So they'll be trying to just quietly away in the background, build these stars, and then, in the future, bang, here we go. We've got the second story. Like, imagine if you just watched UFC events solely, that's it. You didn't dig anymore or anything like that. And you just seen Alex Pereira is beat Izzy twice, and now he's come in. You're like, oh God, we've got a full story here. Surely, with how hot Hamzat is, if he can get Paulo Costa out of there, it's going to build for something huge.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to, hasn't it? It has to build these guys up. But then for the rest of the card, we have people like Derek Lewis, Wonderboy, Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland, Michael Pereira. It's a huge card, a massive undercard. Do you think this, Mark, is set to be one of the biggest cards of the year?
Yep, 100%. Just off name value alone, you're coming off 290, which is an absolute banger of a card anyway. And then we get this. When them fights got released in the special announcement video by Dana, you're looking at them going, this is all on one card. You're looking like Puss in Boots in Shrek. Like, this is amazing. This is absolutely great. That's going to be one of them, Dwayne. It's a full day for me watching it over here. It's going to be a full night for you. You're going to be you're going to be absolutely knackered on the Sunday. And I can't wait already. It just feels like this is where I get, not to get too sentimental, but you feel grateful to be a UFC fan. A fan, by the way, not interested in any of the politics or anything. We get Tret monthly, almost.
You look at almost. I mean, 288, 289. Ugh, bit of a disaster there for the cards, but it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, I'm incredibly excited for this card, and I can't wait for all the build-up. All the press conferences are going to be really fun, and just to see Justin and Dustin fight each other again is going to just be the cherry on top of the cake, and I cannot wait. But I do think that's all we've got time for. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.